All right, how we doing, folks? This is Mr. Emmons. Really quickly, sharing a video overview of this Delta Math assignment, solving quadratics, introduction. A couple different tasks that I have assigned. One is solving these equations, which will be relatively new, I suppose, and then just a refresh on factoring. So to get started, I'll use orange. Really quick, what we're going to do in this format is really change this y to a 0. Okay, and then we're going to use what's called the zero product property, which says that when you multiply any number of factors, if the product is 0, one of those factors has to be 0. So in this case, it's x plus 1. Well, that's one factor. And then the opposite of x, or negative x, plus 3. That's our other factor. We've multiplied those two factors together to get 0. So either x plus 1 is equal to 0, or the opposite of x plus 3 is equal to 0, or both. So what we're going to do is very simple. Just take x plus 1, set it equal to 0. Take the opposite of x plus 3, set it equal to 0. Solve this algebraic equation, right? It's a linear equation. We're just subtracting 1 from both sides, and we'll get x equals -1. And then here, 2 steps, I suppose. We're going to subtract 3, and then it'll be the opposite of x is equal to -3. So then x must be equal to +3. And now, given multiple choice, we have 2 different x values. This is a x value of 0 and x value of 3, but doesn't have x equals -1. This is an x value of 0, x equals -1 and -3. Here we go, -1 and +3. So our answer is F. All right, I'm doing this on paper. You'll be doing it on the Delta Math program itself on your Chromebook. So I'll show you number 2. Once again, we're setting this equal to 0, right? A y-intercept. Turn the y-intercept. Why are we dealing with y-intercepts? All right, scratch that. If it's a y-intercept, then I suppose we are going to say, consider what happens when x equals 0. So this will be 0 minus 5 times 0 minus 1 equal to y. So -5 times -1 will get y equals +5. And therefore, I guess we're looking at D as our answer. I apologize. I did assume most of these were going to be just x-intercepts. So x-intercept, change the y to 0. Y-intercept, change x to 0. That is pretty universal. That is something we've spoken about in class when we did linear functions. So here we go. Back to x-intercepts. Okay, y equals 0. And we'll use the zero product property, where we say the opposite of x plus 3 is equal to 0, and the opposite of x minus 1 is equal to 0. All right, this one, subtracting 3, then dividing out the negative, or if the opposite of x is equal to -3, then x must equal a +3. And here, adding 1, and then dividing out the negative, x equals -1. So which one has both x equals 3 and x equals -1? I suppose that's letter C. All right, and determining the y-intercept once again, that's when x equals 0. There should only be one y-intercept. All right, so 0 plus 3, that's going to get multiplied by the opposite of 0, which is just 0, minus 2. All right, +3 times a -2, you'll get -6 equals y, or y equals -6. So which one of these is y equals -6? No, that's an x value. Oh, there we go. There's our y value. E. Okay, so you'll do a couple of those, finding the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. But just so we're clear, we are, in these next few sections, going to be more concerned with finding x-intercepts. Just so you're aware. All right, as far as factoring goes, we have been using, for trinomials, the AC method. All right, folks. A equals 1, B equals 5, C equals negative 50. We've then been multiplying A times C, in this case negative 50. So we're now trying to find two numbers that multiply to negative 50, like negative 1 and positive 50, positive 1, negative 50, 2, negative 25, negative 2, positive 25, 3, no, 4, no, 5, negative 10, negative 5, positive 10. Start with those pairs and then consider of those pairs which ones add to our B term, or B value rather, excuse me, B, so in this case 5. Well, this adds to positive 49, negative 49, negative 23, positive 23, negative 5. Here we go, positive 5. Okay, great. So our two numbers are negative 5 and 10. We've been then taking the x squared plus 5x minus 50, breaking up that plus 5x. I'll go ahead and start with the negative 5. Negative 5x plus 10x minus 50, and then factoring by grouping. Right, the greatest common factor here is just an x, so times x minus 5. Here, a positive 10, and then x minus 5. We know we did it correctly because we got x minus 5 both times, and so it will factor to x minus 5, that common binomial. Right, what's the same about them? What's the same about them? X minus 5. What's different about them? X plus 10. All right, that is us successfully factoring this 1, 2, 3 quadratic trinomial. All right, you would do the same for number 7. All right, and essentially the same for number 8. Just be reminded, A is 3, B is 25, C is 42. We're doing A times C. In this case, 3 times 42. I know it's a big number, but that is going to be 128. Ugh. And now we need two numbers to multiply to 128. Make sure I did that right. 126 that add to 25. Okay. They have to multiply to 126. What could that be? No. All right, well, you obviously have 3 and 42, but that's going to add to 45, so they got to be a little bit closer together. I was thinking 6 and 21, but those are going to add to, that'll multiply to 126, but that's going to add to 27. Oh, man. How's 4? Nope. 4 and 30. Nope, that doesn't even work. 5, 6, 7, 8. Does 8 work? No. 9. 9 might work. 9. And I'm totally blanking. 14? No. 9 and 14? Yeah, 9 and 14. Oh, man. Oh, you know what? No, that's not right. All right, 3 times 42, 120, and 3 times 2 is 6. Yeah, 126. All right, so it's not 6 and 21. It's not 9 and 14 because it's 23. Let's see. Will 7 work? 7 and 18. Whew. All right, I was like stressing over that one. Right, because once again, they have to add to 25. These add to 27, 9 and 14 add to 23, 7 and 18 add to 25. Man, took me a minute. Tricky, tricky, tricky. All right, so 3x squared plus 25x plus 42. We'll break up that middle term. 3x squared plus 7x plus 18x plus 42. Greatest common factor between these two terms will just be x. 3x plus 7. Between these two terms, well, it's going to be positive. Let's see. I'm going with 6. 3x plus 7. And it needs to be the same again, right? That common binomial needs to be the same. So now it's, all right, what's the same? That common binomial. What's different? X plus 6, and we've successfully factored it. I did think for a second when I was struggling to find the numbers that multiply to 126, I was wondering, I took a look back to see if there was a greatest common factor in the original trinomial, which of course there isn't other than 1. Maybe that would have made our lives easier. 3 and 42 are divisible by 3, but 25 isn't. So we were stuck with this obnoxious number 126 and trying to identify those factors. So hopefully the problems you face will be a little bit easier, but feel free to work with a neighbor, bounce some of these ideas off of one another, identifying your factors and such. So but that's a quick review. Those are the things that we need to be able to do in these next few sections. All right, get back to some factoring and the AC method, and then after we factor, we'll be using, I guess what we started with was I mentioned the zero product property. All right, we'll talk more about that in the coming days. But for now, good luck with the Delta Math assignment, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.